Blade goes, Jesus, you're always thinking about that car. And Nelson turns to her and goes, oh, I'm not talking about the car. And I'm like, how did you get that past the censors? It was amazing. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video. And I also wanted to let you know that not only do I create content here on Class in the Glass, but I also stream content in my Twitch channel, Mr. Revan7. I play single-player games, multiplayer games, and I also do movie reviews and cartoon reviews as well. I also want to encourage you to check out my Patreon, Class in the Glass, where I offer audio commentaries, full reactions for movies, and also the ability to submit questions for my video casts and podcasts. In the meantime, thank you for watching and enjoy the video. We got to go ahead and get to Batman Beyond Chat Episode 4 Gollum. Now, as you guys know, having just recently starting to rewatch the show again, have just a renewed appreciation for it, Chad. It's so goddamn good. Just love how it's paying homage to all the stuff from the original Batman the Animated Series, Chad, and bringing in the content. The context just makes it it feels so rich. It feels so rich, chat. And this is one of the first episodes where it really does stand its own, kind of more acclimating you to the world itself, the teenage culture that Terry McGinnis often finds himself in. Hamilton High School, chat. It's not Gotham High. It's Hamilton High, chat. Nate, I just realized what the school's named after, chat. It's called Hamilton Hill High School. Who was the mayor in Gotham City, chat, during Batman the Animated Series? Hamilton Hill. Oh my God, they got me, chat. I was like, oh, they didn't do any references in this one. It's like, yes, they did, right in front of my face. I just didn't realize until I was like, wait a minute. Oh, look at that shit. Sorry, I appreciate it, because that's what opens up. You did the whole, wow, this is very good. What's next? Bad McClunky? No, not McClunky. Oh my God, let me go. Switch version of Among Us, very good. That's good to hear. Like that. I like that. But I just realized, shit, yeah, the Hamilton Hill High School is named after Hamilton Hill, the mayor from the original animated series. That was great. Wow. I'm sorry. I just surprised myself. Like, wait a minute. But that's how we open up, shit, after the whole fanfare, which, again, underrated opening. The Batman Beyond, the Batman of the Future opening, chat. Very good. Just the imagery it's used. Very dark. It's very creepy. Not exactly easy to hum that one, instead of, ba, 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 ba. But the imagery that they use, the flashing, the title cards and stuff, really setting that this is a new era of Batman, the dystopian setting, the very Blade Runner-esque, chat. Just the images of all the crazy villains, and people just going, just scared to death, chat. It's pretty cool. Also a little bit of the Dark Knight Returns in there too, Chad. You see some guys that feel very reminiscent of the mutants from Frank Miller's original comic. Just how they look. They have like the glasses. And I guess we see an iteration of them later on in the animated series, Chad. I was like, oh, yeah, man, that just really stood out to me. But anyway, we open up, chat. We're at the Hamilton Hill High School, named after the once great mayor of Gotham City, chat. Well, I imagine is long past since then. Maybe we'll see Jordan Hill, chat. Jordan. That'd be interesting if we see him make an appearance. That'd be kind of cool. He's a fucking magician and shit. And let's see if that worked out for him. But we're introduced to the character, chat, of good old little Willie Watts, chat. Willie Watts, he's a nerd. He's a nerdy kid, chat. He's very intelligent, though, always getting straight A's and things. Very impressive student, chat. All the teachers praise him, chat. But because he's so smart, chat, because he's different and articulate, all the jocks, all the girls, they ignore him, Chad. It's like, yeah, when you're fucking 30, I'm telling you right now, Chad, when the girl he's going after, her name is Blade, by the way, which is, who names their fucking kid Blade? Unless she's killing vampires, unless you belong to a family of vampire hunters, like, the goddamn Belmonts and shit, you ain't naming your kid Blade, all right? That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen, all right? So, one's Blade, and she's got a fucking kid already, and she's in her 30s, and, fucking Nelson Nash, Chad, he ain't supporting her because he's a fucking deadbeat. His career in sports didn't work out. He's got a beer gut, and she divorces him, and she looks at someone like goddamn Willie Watts, who's incredibly successful, Chad, has a great paying job. She'd be like, I should have went with him. Goddamn right. I'm sorry I bullied him, was so and she's fucking, the cruelty in this episode, Chad, I will say that's my one critique of the episode. These are some Stephen King level bullies here who are just fucking psychotic. I'm like, you could have killed that person. So that's my one big criticism of this episode, Chad. We do have Stephen King level bullies. She's going to be a single mom of 3 kids at 30. Yep, exactly, Team X. Exactly how it's going to be. And she should have been nice to Willie Watson. Could have been a good relationship with him, but nah, she threw it all the fucking way for some scumbag like Nelson Nash. Yeah, but it opens up. And although Willie Watson he's creepy because he's waiting for Blade chat. She's she's one of the most popular students in school. She's gorgeous. Chat. She's the goddamn bombshell, of course. And he has a crush on her. He wants to talk to her. He doesn't know how to approach her, chat. And so he's following her, and he wants to go up to her, and he says, "Hey, Blade, I saw you in my robotics class." She's like, "Oh, God, don't bore me with robotics." And he goes, "Oh, well, if you need help with the class, maybe we can pair up and study together." Doing a little study date chat and trying to ask her, but he's very shy. And she goes, maybe if you can get me some straight A's. And he goes, absolutely. I mean, it's actually relatively simple when you kind of isolate certain things. He starts to over-explain a little too much. She's like, oh, whatever. But then fucking Nelson, as they're walking down the sidewalk and shit, talking to each other, Nelson Nash, Chad, who was already established in the show at this point. He's the guy that fucking spit in Terry's mouth in episode 1. Remember that, chap? Remember that? Film Freak, welcome to stream. We're talking about the moment where Nelson Nash spit in Terry's mouth. He went, what the fuck? And punched him, which is what you would do. That's the natural response, Chad. When someone spits in your mouth, and you're like, what? Punch. That's what you do. And then Terry he was fucking thrown out of the goddamn classroom because of it. It's like, no. That's what you do. But he pulls up, Chad. He's driving his new fucking hot rod car. And Blade, Blade. I want to call her Blaze for some reason. But Blade, she's like, whoa. And Nelson's like, how you doing, Blade? And she's like, what do you want, Nelson? Because Nelson's kind of an asshole, too. He's a jock. And she's like, I don't really want to deal with you right now. I don't want to deal with anybody. I didn't do well on my test. And, Willie's upset because he was talking to her, and now Nelson's just fucking butt in. And he even pushes past Willie. And he goes, hey, I thought maybe we could go get some food right now, take a ride in my car. And she's like, I don't like surprises like this, okay? I'm on my way home right now. And he's like, oh, come on, girl, come on. Don't you want to ride? And he grabs her, Che grabs her. And Willie's like, hey, she told you she doesn't want to go with you. And he's like, fucking back off, Willie. I wasn't goddamn talking to you, okay? And, Blade, she keeps walking away, not picking a side or anything like that. And then Nash goes, hey, Blade, don't you want to come on, you want to go out with me tomorrow, go to the mall? Is that enough of time for you to think about it? And she goes, I'll think about it, okay? Bye. And she steps off. And Nelson's pissed off because he wanted her, like, right now. And he fucking slams little Willie Watts in the wall, chat. And he tells him, it's like, you're going to fucking pay for that, man. But then who says, hey, leave him alone? And who said that, chat? Goddamn Terry McGinnis. He deserves the goddamn in front of his name, chat. Terry McGinnis, because he doesn't like bullies. He doesn't like a bully, chat. And they established that Terry, like, he was a bit of a delinquent. He was a bit of a bully himself. And he learned. He learned that was wrong years ago. Even before he became Batman. I kind of admired that. That's why it's like this kid was always destined to be. I mean, we learned why he was always destined to be Batman. Chat's a little goofy, in my opinion. We'll get to that someday. We'll get to those Justice League episodes someday, chat. I'll definitely do Justice League someday on this stream. But I like that he even came to the realization before he became Batman, before he even met Bruce, that he had to change his behavior. And I don't know, it makes you really respect the character, I think. Then he didn't like bullies anymore because he knows he used to be a bully, and he knows he knows what kind of cruelty you have to have, and he realized, like, I was doing it because of my parents' divorce. I was placing my rage on other people and making them feel bad because I felt bad, and he recognized that. And they talk about it later on in the series too. We see it here in full effect. And Nelson Nash is just like, I don't want to hear it from you, McGinnis. What are you going to do, Willie Watts? I'm not scared like Willie Watts here. But and Terry McGinnis is like, yeah, but you want to fucking tangle with me? Like, yeah, you'll fucking fight him. But you want to fight me? And Nelson's just like, all right. He doesn't want to fight him, Chad. He's not going to fight Terry. He's like, all right, I got you, McGinnis. You know what? Willie, you ain't fucking worth it. You ain't worth it. But you, McGinnis, you're worth it. You're breathtaking. And he gets back in his fucking car, and he drives away. And Willie accidentally, like when Nelson pushes him, chat, he falls against the car, Nash's car, and he rips his sleeve on the car chain, cuts his arm and shit. And Nelson's just like, "You're gonna pay for that." And he's like, "He didn't even damage your car or nothing." But then Terry goes down to him and says, "Hey, are you okay, Will?" And he goes, "I'm fine. I'm fine." He doesn't really want to talk about it, chat. He's just embarrassed. And eventually we cut. It's mostly focused on Willie in this episode, Chad. Terry's part of it. Batman is obviously a part of it, but it's mostly focused on him and what he's going through. And then, Chad, we cut to a construction yard where we see, apparently, Chad, robots are used heavily in now construction, these giant projects all across Gotham. That's how all these skyscrapers, these monolith skyscrapers were made, Chad. And we see these giant, what looks like robots, Chad. They call them golems. They call them golems because you get to control them, Chad, like the Jewish tale of the golem, where you make this man out of clay and you're able to control him, manipulate him and things. Kind of the same premise here. You use an app, you put on an apparatus, shed a head device, and you're basically able to see through the golem and control it based on your actions. It's like VR. It's like a AR, VR. It's cool. It's a cool concept. Ahead of its time for Batman Beyond, Chad. They were ahead of the game, and they're moving all this around. And we were introduced to Willie's father, Chad. This guy's a fucking asshole. As soon as you see him, it's like, yep, you can just tell by how they animate him and based on his movements and shit. And he's always yelling at his workers, shit, always to dominate them, put them down and things. And, of course, he's resentful of his son because even though his son is incredibly intelligent, chat, is a fantastic student, the teachers love him, he's got a bright, shining career in whatever field he chooses, he just doesn't like his son because he's not an athlete, doesn't stand up for himself, and he's not a bully like he is. And he doesn't like his son. And he turns around because Will is there because, I think they drive home together or something, and he sees that the cut on his arm, and because I think Will told his father about what happened, and he goes, "What are you going to do about it?" And Will just kind of looks down, and he goes, "See, that's your fucking problem, Will. That's your goddamn problem, okay? What did I tell you? What do I keep fucking tell you, all right? When you get pushed, you push back. That's what you're going to do, okay?" And Will is just like, "Well, that's easy for you to say." He's like, "What the fuck did you just say?" And he's like, nothing. And he's like, "Yeah, that's what I fucking thought, all right? Deal with it. And Will, he sees the golem over there, and he goes, "Okay, I'll deal with it." And he's like, "Yeah, good. And fucking get him where it hurts. Hit him where it hurts." And he's like, "Oh, I know exactly what to do." And so then, chat, we cut to, I guess it's a day later, we're at the mall. Blade is with Nelson Nash, chat. They're walking around the mall. And Nelson Nash, the only thing on his mind is goddamn car. And one other thing, chat. And he's like, "You know what? The mall is so lame." That's the one thing, chat, that has not carried over, is that malls are pretty much, that was... Again, in the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s, everyone's about the mall. But nowadays, no one going to the goddamn malls. I mean, especially in the pandemic, but... they're starting to close down now. People don't care. People are doing their shopping online. So that's the one thing that is slightly dated about Batman Beyond. It's one thing that they did not predict, is that the malls will just be over. But, Nelson Nash, he's ahead of the game. He's like, "The mall is so lame. Let's go for a ride." And Blade goes, "Jesus, you're always thinking about that car." And Nelson turns to her and goes, "Oh, I'm not talking about the car." And I'm like, how did you get that past the censors? It was amazing. They make so many sexual innuendos throughout this show, all the shows, but especially in Batman Beyond, in Justice League, Chad. I'm like, holy fucking shit. And as a little kid, I'm like, what does that mean? It just goes right over your head, Shep. And I'm like, wow. Wow. And they somehow do it. Deal with it. Yeah. Oh, Lord. And, but who's watching him, chat? A little creepy, though. Little Willie, chat. And he has the fucking apparatus on his head. He puts it on. He's like, "Hit him where it hurts." And apparently, chat, he takes control of the fucking golem. Somehow the golem was stolen. How do you lose a 2-story robot, chat? That's what happened, because... that's the other thing, too, because we also see some testing of Batman Beyond's abilities, chat. So Terry's using the invisible... This is the debut. I was wrong. It wasn't featured in the previous episodes. This is where we see the invisibility version of the suit. And he has on Chase, who's completely translucent, completely invisible. And he's like, Terry's like watching a basketball game with some kids. He's talking with Bruce. He's like, this is amazing. I'm completely blanking with the environment. And Bruce is like, "Have they spotted you yet?" He's like, not a single one. And then the basketball accidentally bounces off and almost hits him. He goes, "Whoa!" And then it's when he sees the police sirens, chat, going to the construction yard. He's like, I'm gonna go check that out. Bruce is like, "Sounds good." And they go over there. Still invisible. Oh, he blasts off though, chat, because he decloaks, and he blasts off the wall. And all the kids are like, "Oh my God, is that Batman?" And Terry's like, "Yeah, it's Batman. I'm Batman." He's so happy, chat, that he's Batman. And he goes there. And we see Willie's dad, and he's just fucking beside himself, just angry, Chad, just yelling at everybody. He's like, "How'd you fucking lose a 2-story robot?" He's like, I don't know. He's like, "Gotcha." He's mad, and he's like, the apparatus was stolen. And then we get the explanation of what a golem is and things used in construction projects. It's also gonna be a fucking weapon of war. And at this point, and Terry's like, "How do you lose a 2-story golem?" And Bruce pipes in and is like, "It's not going to stay lost for long. Whoever's using that right now is going to make their presence known." And Bruce is right, as always. He is ever the detective, chat. And he's like, "Be on the lookout, because that thing's probably going to be used either tonight or sometime very soon." Then we cut back to the mall, chat. It's sexual innuendo and shit. Then we see Willie Watts. He's like, "I'll hit him where it hurts." He puts on the apparatus, chat, and the fucking robot, this giant 2-story robot, just starts smashing through the mall. But it's not hurting anybody. It almost hurts people. I mean, Willie doesn't seem to care about anyone else, probably because of the abuse he got from his father and this environment that he was in. He's kind of become a bit of a sociopath, sadly. And this robot's just stomping forward and is going right for Nelson and Blade, chat. And Blade's like, "Oh my God." And Nelson, ever the hero, pushes her away from himself and towards the robot, and he fucking runs. Just like, "Fuck you, bitch." And he just takes off running, chat. And she's like, "Ah!" She's just screaming, chat, but the robot just walks right over her, chat, doesn't hurt her or anything. Just still going for fucking Nelson. And he gets to his goddamn car trying to start the car, and Blade's like, "Help me." He's like, "Fuck you, I don't give a shit." And he's about to put pedal to the metal, baby, but then the robot grabs the back of the car, and he's like, "No!" And the robot like gets him out of there. She thought he's gonna fucking crush him, and he doesn't. He drops him, and his legs just fucking shatter, his bone marrow and blood and everywhere. No, he's fine. But he sees that the car is just smushed. He fucking pancakes the car, chat, drops it in front of him. He's like, "No, my ride!" He's so upset. But then, chat, it looked like Willie was about to crush Nelson. I'm not sure. Maybe he was. There is a point where he's like, "All right, fuck, I'm gonna kill all you guys." Before he does anything else, fucking Terry sees this shit, and he starts attacking the robot, and we get this big, really cool, basically Batman kaiju battle. She has a Batman kaiju battle. It's pretty nice. But thankfully, Batman, he's able to deactivate it because as Bruce taught him in this episode, be mindful of your surroundings. It's like because Bruce tells him, like, everything you have on you right now is not going to be able to penetrate that robot, okay? So see what you can use in the environment to fight this thing. So I love that he's teaching him on the spot. Thank you, actually, the 5 minutes, his insurance is going to be up for sure. Yes. Even though it's not his fault. It's like, yeah, giant robot attack. We just don't cover that. He's like, "What?" That'd be hilarious. Batman Jedi training, very much so, big homie. But I love it, like, Bruce is like, it's just so funny. He's like, "Everything that you have on you right now," and Terry goes, "Yep," is worthless. And Terry's like, "Oh, great. So use the environment to your advantage. How can you stop the robot? Look around." And Terry notices the elevator has this giant electrical, like, a tube in it, chat. And he's like, "Maybe I could short circuit the robot." And so he positions himself, like, right underneath the elevator, chat. And the robot, because, Willie Watts is like, "Get out of here, Batman. This doesn't involve you." But basically, Willie's also in another place, too, so that he can't be seen because he's wearing the apparatus. And he stabs the wire, chat, and Terry, he moves at the last second, and he goes right into electrical paneling, and goes, and Willie's like, "Ah!" So it's like frying him, chat. The robot crashes down, Willie crashes down, and then, Batman, he defeats it, and the police all start coming in there, and Bruce is telling him, "Okay, get out of there right now." So he blasts off. Then we come back to Willie, who takes the apparatus. He's fine. He seems to be fine. Takes the apparatus off, and he has it's like this electricity. It feels like his hair stands up. Electricity is like on his fingertips. He can't stop shaking, but he eventually calms down, and he gets out of there. Then we cut to the morning. Willie's there with his dad. They're eating breakfast where they found the robot. The GCPD has impounded the robot. Willie's dad's upset because they can't complete the construction project. Now it's going to be delayed. And he's like, "If I get my fucking hands around that kid, whoever stole it, I'm gonna make them wish they'd never been born." And then Willie pipes in, "Oh, don't worry, he already feels that way." And he's like, "What was that?" And he goes, "Nothing, never mind." Thank you, actually, for another 5 biddies. He tweaking, he's a little tweaking. Got that robot high. Don't put on the robot apparatus, chat. You don't want that. You might get telekinetic abilities because, chat, he realizes when I think it's like he goes to school the next day. And Blade is very upset that Nelson Nash basically fucking abandoned her to die. And he's like, I'm sorry, baby, I'm sorry. She's like, fuck off, asshole. And then she sees Willie. She even, before she sees him, she says, I'd rather date fucking Willie Watts than you. And she sees Willie walking by, and he's just downcast shit. He's just looking at his feet, doesn't even see her. He accidentally bumps into her, and she goes, oh, hi, Willie. And he just keeps walking. He's just not interested anymore. And she's like, ooh, I know what to do. And she goes up and she goes, hey, Willie, you want to go to the fair tomorrow? And he goes, oh, you mean for the dance? Because they're going to have the Hamilton Hill prom, Chad. They want to go to the prom. And they're having it at, like, the Gotham Pier. And she goes, yeah, pick me up at 7. And he goes, sure, yeah, of course. And, but she's not doing it because she likes him. She's doing it to get back at Nelson. And Nelson sees this, and he fucking just punches, Willie in the face. He's like, what the fuck you trying to do, bro? What you doing, bro? And he's like, what the hell, man? And he pushes Nelson or Willie into the lockers, about to, like, just wail on him again. But then a teacher walks by, and he goes, oh, yeah, and everything. He's like, you got fucking, you were lucky. They call him Twip. That's the term they used to, not twerp. It's called twip. They took out the R. And he's like, you were lucky this time, Twip. I'll see you at prom. And then he walks away. And then Terry sees this shit. And he comes over. He goes, Willie, are you doing okay? And he's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm doing better than ever. Because when he realized when Nelson pushes him against the locker and hits his head against it, he gets a flash chat. He wakes up, but he's not where he is. He sees the impound. He realizes that, wait a minute, I'm seeing through the robot. I'm still controlling the robot, chat. So whatever happened to the apparatus, the electrical shock or something, whatever, it passed over to him, and he still has that connection despite not having the apparatus. And so he's like, oh, I know what I'm going to fucking do. And so, Terry's he's concerned. Obviously concerned that, got punched, almost got knocked out, got clocked in the goddamn hallway. And Willie's like, I'm doing just fine, Terry, thank you. And he leaves, and Terry's like, Jesus Christ. I hope he's all right. And then, Chad, we cut to, this is a really cool moment, we cut to the sewer system. We should never be in the sewer systems in Gotham City, Chad. It's not a very safe place. And he's just standing there in the fucking dark, and he's like, I feel you coming closer. And it's like, ugh. But then all of a sudden, Chad, we hear the... we hear the laugh of not the Joker, Chad, but a Joker's. This is Joker territory, and they're riding their goddamn motorcycles, flailing their spiked rubber chicken chat in the air, and they're all running around. Great animation on Willie at this point, because what they do is, very anime-esque, where you don't see his eyes anymore. He's always downcast now, and you see like this cool like shadow effect on his face, and the glasses are illuminated, and they're big, they're just pure white. It's really creepy, really sets the mood. Yeah, Willie's getting to the golem. Thank you, Chris. Ooh, thanks for the 5 minutes. You don't know if Killer Croc's sons. That's true, Killer Croc. He could be spawning down there all the time. But very true, KC. Very true. You nailed it. The Joker's like, this is Joker territory, and you need to make an offering to us if you want to live. And he's like, I can offer you something. And he's like, what? What do you want to offer us? He's like, how about a joke? And he goes, this guy. All right. Okay, kid, make us laugh. And, Willie Watts goes, what's 2 stories tall and eats jokers? And the guy goes, what? And he goes, him. And the golem fucking bursts to the goddamn wall, chat, and just starts smashing the jokers and ripping them apart. And they go, ah! And it kills them. They kills them, chat. And the golem is bathed in their blood, and blood is rained upon Willie, chat. It's like a weird christening. A weird christening, chat. Like a baptism of Joker blood. And the robot goes down to Willie, and Willie touches his, like, we're together now. It's like, fuck. And then eventually, chat, we cut. We're now at the prom, and we see Terry McGinnis and his girlfriend Dana, chat. They're dancing. Dana's really happy because Bruce gave Terry the day off to go take his girl to the prom, and she's like, I'm really glad Mr. Wayne could let you off today. And he goes, yeah, no, he was very understanding, so I'm happy to be here. She's like, yeah, it would have sucked to be here alone. She's like, you would have gone alone. She's like, listen, I have a social life outside of you, And he goes, all right, I know. But I like their playful nature, their relationship, chat. They get strained later on in the series, but she's still understanding of what of the situation with Terry, the death of his father. So I kind of like that, but eventually you start to grow resentful, Chad, no matter what. And they're dancing and things. And then, you know, we cut to Blade and Willie. And Blade is she's just not, doesn't want to be with Willie, even though he's doing everything for her. He's being a simp right now. And they're talking back. She's like, oh, whatever. And he's like, would you like some punch? And she goes, sure, that'd be great. And he goes and gets some punch. And then Nelson Nash, he walks up and he goes, how you doing, baby? And she's like, I want to talk to you, Nelson. He's like, oh, come on. Come on. You look miserable with fucking Willie over there. Don't you want to dance with me? Don't you want to take a ride with me? And she's like, you don't have your car. And he goes, I know. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Well, but I got to tell Willie. And he's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'll let him down easy. And it's like, ah. And so then we cut to Willie, Chad, who's getting the punch ready for himself and Blade. And Willie comes over. He's like, hey, Willie, I want to talk to you for a minute. He's like, but Blade's like, oh, don't worry about her. Don't worry about her, buddy. And they go out, and they go out to the fucking pier, chat, where there's none of the party's happening, chat. And it's like a tall pier. It's like stories high and shit, chat. It's not like, oh, it's like a dock. And it's like if you take one step, you fall like a foot and you're in the water. It's like, no, it's like probably 3 stories tall, if not taller. And they go over there. And he's like, all right, fucking Willie, I'm telling you right now, leave fucking Blade alone, all right? She doesn't want to be with you. She wants to be with me. She wants to take a ride with me. And he's like, no, I'm not doing anything you say, okay? I'm with her. He's like, no, you're fucking not. I'm going easy on you, Willie. I'm going easy on you right now. And he's like, you can't stop me, Nelson. He goes, yeah, I can. And he fucking pushes him, Chet. He pushes him off the goddamn pier. And he goes, ah! And he falls in the water. That water could have been shallow. That water could have been shallow, chat. We don't know if Willie can swim. Could have died right there in impact, chat. So, for all we know, Nelson Nash could have committed murder right there. And all his friends were like, they're all laughing and shit at him, you know, and they walk away. And then, slowly, chat, great animated sequence here. Willie comes up from the surface, and he's just, you know, obviously soaked, chat. He's in the water, and he slowly climbs up the ladder, and the rage is building, chat, and the robot is matching his movements, chat, at the same time. They're perfectly in sync, and he gets up there, and he's like downcast and everything. The robot is too, and he's just, and the robot, he starts going Super Saiyan, chat, and the robot's like coming. It's coming. He's like, all right, we'll fucking show them. Thank you.
You really are a hero.
Thank you so much. We have a new follower, chat. Do Grinch. Ooh, Buck 9mm. Welcome to stream. You're my new Huckleberry and my new Grinch, and we like Grinches here. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying the review for Batman Beyond Episode 4, Gollum. But chat, we then cut back to the party. Everyone's dancing. Everyone's having a good time. Nelson and Blade are dancing. Terry and Dana dancing. All of a sudden, chat, everyone starts getting distracted. Everyone starts laughing. And they see Willie walking into the party, chat, just fucking drenched, just, just soaked, chat, because he fell into the water. And they're all going, ha, look at Wet Willie, Wet Willie. It's like, oh, lame fucking pun. And then Dana sees this. Terry and Dana sees this. She's like, oh, fuck, someone has to do something. Someone has to do something. This is cruel. This is disgusting. And she goes over there. And then Terry's about to join her, and they're gonna help Willie. But then he gets a Bruce. Bruce chimes in. He's always wearing the comm in his ear, and Bruce is like, the Gollum is heading right towards you. And he goes, what? And he's like, get the fucking suit, because thankfully Terry always has the suit on hand. It's in his vehicle. I'm not sure where he keeps it. I'm not sure what he drives, but it's always on hand. And he's like, get in the fucking suit right now. It's coming right at you. And he's like, oh, shit. And he goes and does that, chat. And then Dana goes over to Willie, who's just looking, just 1,000-yard stare, just staring out. And Dana comes over. He's like, Willie, listen, I'm gonna just come with me. We'll take you home, okay? And he goes, I don't want your help. I don't need anyone's help. And he looks at Blade, and he looks at Nelson Nash, and he goes, no, I just want all you fuckers to die. And he screams, and the Gollum bursts up through the fucking the building that they're underneath them, chat. And he's glowing green. The robot's glowing green, and he just starts smashing all the people inside, chat. It's very similar to Carrie. Very similar to Carrie in the way. And all the students try to run off the building. They're trampling each other. They're jumping off the fucking pier, trying to just get away from this thing as soon as possible. Eventually, he's going right for fucking Nelson, right for Blade. Misses Blade, chat. She runs off, but he grabs Nelson, about to crush him in his hand. But Terry, he goes in there, grabs Nelson the last minute before he squishes him, and Nelson's like, oh, thanks, and Terry's just like, don't mention it, and he throws Nelson off the pier. He goes, ah! So he doesn't like Nelson, chat. He still saved him, but doesn't like the fuck, and he falls in the water. And at this point, Batman, he's doing the thing that Bruce would just not do, which shows you how either it shows you that Terry is probably a better human being than Bruce is. Like Bruce he's a good person, but he's bitter and he's old and he's cold now. Where Terry, he's similar to Bruce in the early days when he tries to reach out to Willie and say, like, Willie, you need to stop this. You're hurting people. Like, please just stop this. And he's like, get out of here, Batman. My fight's not with you. And he's trying to get at Batman, trying to stab him, trying to mush him. And Bruce is just saying, punch him in the face. Bruce is just in his ear. Stop talking to him. Punch him in the face. I just love it. Bruce is like, I've been through the Terry. Listen, let me tell you about Harvey Dent. let me tell you a story about Big Bad Harv. I just love that. Brain up old shit, Bruce. I've been here. Oh my God. Let me tell you about Victor Freeze. Terry's just like, all right. And he manages to get the robot. Oh, by the way, before this is all going on, Willie's father comes in because he sees on the news, he sees the golem, and he realizes his son's doing this. And Willie's just like, yeah, fuck you, Dad, I want to kill you. And he's trying to kill his dad, and his dad's trying to run away and shit. And they end up in this, like, part of this construction site, and his dad is jumping from steel girder to steel girder. And Terry interrupts, like, the almost attempted patricide about to happen. And Terry's like, he's your father, it's your father. And Willie's like, he soon won't be, because he's gonna kill him. It's like, that's fucking dark. Thank you, Bet You the 5 Minutes. Pulled a Vegeta and told him to stop dicking around and end it, pretty much. Yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it myself. You're absolutely right, Bat Shields. He's like, but I love that line, he soon won't be. He's like, I'm gonna kill my dad. And eventually Terry's like, all right, I gotta fucking this. He grabs Willie's dad, puts him in the safety because he's about to fall in the water. He's like, I can't swim. He's like, of course you can't swim. And he grabs his dad, he puts him in the safe spot, and he goes to the robot. He uses his grappling hook, chat, it's very long in this series. It's like, because based on the future of technology, you can put a lot of grapple in there, apparently. Wraps up the robot in one of the rides, chat, one of those the rides that like spin really fast. I guess the tilt-a-whirl, I don't know what's called, but it wraps the robot and tears its limbs off, chat. It tears its limbs off, and it's stumbling around, and it crashes through, and its legs get severed as well. And Willie's like, no, because he feels this too. He feels all this too. And the robot comes crashing down, and Willie's just sobbing. He's like, no. He's just so upset. And Batman, Terry's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. And then Willie's father comes up to him. And Batman, he's Batman, Chad. Terry's Batman in this moment. It's such a Batman moment where Batman tells him, you should be with him right now. He needs you. Okay, he needs you now more than ever, okay? Because you're not going to see him for a very long time. And Willie's father goes, yeah, but at least he stood up for himself, right? And Batman just stares at him. He just stares at him and goes, yeah, he certainly did, didn't he? And he just and Batman just like, oh my God, you're a monster. And he walks away, Chad. He walks away. And, Willie's father just like, oh God, like what did it cost? What did it cost? And he goes over to his son. And then, Chad, we cut. It's days later, weeks later, I'm not sure. We hear on the news, Chad, about Willie Watts, how he's going to be spending the next 3 years in a juvenile detention center since he's still underage, but 3 years of his life's going to be spent there. We see him just sitting in this kind of like mass like atrium room. Well, these other kids who are also in this like juvenile prison. And just sitting there, it's all in shadow, and you just see his glasses shed, and you have these guys come over, and they're like, hey, change the fucking channel, Twip. And then Willie kind of he doesn't look at him, chat. He just looks at the TV, and it just starts fizzing out, getting the static, and it explodes, chat, and it coats them in burning hot glass and metal, and they're like, ah, they're screaming and shit, and he just walks away, chat, and smiles to himself, because he still has his telekinetic ability. He still has it, chat. It was just not connected to the golem. He could control technology. So I guess he's like a technopath, I guess, control of machines. But it evolves overall. We'll see Willie again, chat. But that, my friends, was Batman Beyond Episode 4, Golem. Very good episode. Very good episode, chat. Good anti-bullying episode, by the way. Man, he fucked those kids up. He still got that technopathic ability. He has one more episode after this, chat. We see him again. Big Willie. Yeah, he becomes Big Willie. He certainly does. Mitch Griffiths, yay, good review, thank you guys. Then he gets jacked. He gets jacked, Chet. It's like, wow.